I want you to imagine you look at someone you love and there is no recognition in their eyes. There is no sadness and grief quite like it. I've recently been faced with this experience. And my auntie, even now, when she forgot her family and can barely speak, she still asks, why me? Even though we don't have the answers yet, there's many researchers working in dementia research, including me. My name is Daiana, and I'm trying to break the walls of dementia diagnosis. Alzheimer's and Parkinson's are neurodegenerative disorders associated with accumulation of phosphorylated tau and alpha-synuclein. It is now known that the majority of patients with Alzheimer's and Parkinson's present with olfactory dysfunction many years prior to any other clinical symptoms. It is also important to note that olfactory epithelium is the only structure where neurons have a direct connection from the environment to the brain. All of these observations led to the formation of the olfactory vector hypothesis, which suggests that an environmental factor enters the nasal cavity, interacts with the olfactory neurons, and then triggers the pathology that moves to the olfactory bulbs that are directly connected to the brain. New Zealand is unique as we have access to the whole olfactory epithelium. And it allows us to study the whole structure rather than the small snippets. My work focuses on phosphorylated tau aggregations within the phosphorylated tau and alpha-synuclein aggregates, on how they present on their distribution and whether we can use the nose as an early diagnostic tool for dementia diagnosis. On the figure on your right, you can see how olfactory neurons in purple and pathological aggregates in beige and pink are distributed within the nasal epithelium. From this, I was able to measure that the majority of pathology is actually localized to places with olfactory neurons, which means that if we find a way to target olfactory epithelium during the biopsies, we have a better chance at finding early pathology, which means we can help in early dementia diagnostics. These images show that I have found evidence of phosphorylated tau within olfactory epithelium, olfactory nerve tract, glomeruli of the olfactory bulbs and deeper layers of the olfactory bulbs, which means that the pathology is present in every structure in the pathway from the olfactory epithelium to the bulbs that are directly connected to the brain. And as Pat Samet once said, why me? Why me with dementia? Like with my auntie, this question haunts many patients with dementia. And I like to believe that all of these findings bring us one step closer to finding the answers and helping these patients survive and giving their families one more chance at being recognized.
Thank you, Daiana. Any questions for Daiana?
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm wondering, what am I wondering about? Sorry. Why is it important to diagnose dementia early, and how does it compare to genetic tests for early dementia diagnosis?
Well, actually, majority of neurodegenerative conditions are sporadic rather than genetic. There is definitely a genetic aspect, but usually it encompasses 10% of population, which means that 90% is actually sporadic. It is important to find it early because, as we know, neurodegenerative disorders means exactly that your neurons die. And even though we can return neurons, there's not always a chance that we'll do it all in the correct way or how they develop, which means that we might not actually be bringing the same memories or the same things to the person. So to find the dementia early, it means that we can actually use preventative methods, which means that we will stop the death of neurons rather than trying to return the neurons that might go the wrong way.
I'm just interested about the samples that you're using. Are they elderly samples, and the sense of olfactory? I mean, does that decline as we get older? So how are you measuring the olfactory sense?
This actually is a fun question. Olfactory epithelium there's many theories of how it's distributed, and one of the theories is that it does diminish with age, but the thing is it diminishes from the moment you're born. So it's not, it does diminish as all senses do with age, but because dementia is a subject that usually affects people who are older, we're lucky to have multiple samples from early to the late stages of dementia, so we're able to kind of look at more morphological changes.